Hey folks, how y'all doing? Today I'd like to take a deep dive into Kite Liberator. A subject we get asked a lot at convention is, what is the follow-up to Kite? Was one ever made? And usually the response is Kite Liberator. But today I want to go into, is it really a follow-up to Kite? There's a lot of backstory to that I think is pretty interesting, and I'm going to share it with you guys today. Kite was a huge hit for Media Blasters. It really took us to a whole new level. We were doing really well with that title. So what happened was we decided at that time we were during the golden age of anime. Everything was selling. It was the 2000s. Stuff was flying off the shelves. And one of the things I always thought about was our own productions. So I wanted to do more productions. At that time, we already kind of was doing Machine Girl. Investigated even American side. We did Flesh for the Beast. Both of those did very well on home video, and we were able to sell a ton of them. Flesh for the Beast actually had Buckethead do the score. Machine Girl was just basically a cult hit. So then I said I wanted to do it on the anime side. So what was one of our biggest hits? Our biggest hit, obviously, was Kite. Kite was created by Umetsu. It's his own story. And as you know, Umetsu did Megazone, he did Robot Carnival. He did, if you noticed, a lot of sci-fi type stuff. So we said, we want to follow up to Kite. We went to the studio. It was one of the few titles where we actually were able to go to the studio and visit the studio. And we said we want to do the follow-up, and we're willing to actually invest in it. Umetsu, he moves at his own speed. He creates things his own way. We wanted a little bit more input and everything. Umetsu said, and through the studio, was that we would handle all that stuff. Please trust us. And we did. This studio did a lot of great stuff for us. We decided to do it in a way where basically we would own the American market, they would own the Japanese market, and then the rest of the international market we would both sell and split the proceeds from those markets. Then what happened was we finally did get the story. They sent us a story of what Kite Liberator was. And we were like, is this really a follow-up to Kite? What are we creating here? And if you remember the story of Kite, it's about the assassin Sawa and, her abuse and how she deals with it and how she eventually avenges herself and kills, her abuser who's a cop. While in the story of Kite Liberator, we're dealing with a daughter and father. The father is on the spaceship and he winds up, he's an explorer. The ship gets, some diseases and that kind of thing. But the the father becomes a monster because of the disease on the ship and later comes down to Earth. And then the daughter eventually does take him on and fights the monster and realizes, it's not totally clear, but you can see that basically it is the father that she recognizes. There is a brief moment of Sawa in the in Kite Liberator, and that's one of the quite like, where's Sawa? And she is there for a brief moment, but this story is really not Kite. It's its own thing. And what happened was that we trusted him. He said, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. And, just go with it. And you'll, we think we have something really great here. So we went with it. We did say it was very impressive. But at the same time, our salespeople said, we need something here that we can sell easier, and hooking on the name of Kite, that's very important. So Umetsu did call it Kite Liberator. So we decided, yes, we will keep it the same, even though the stories are a little bit different. And there is Sawa there. You can notice similarities. She has her own gun. There's definitely some similarities there. But follow up, I don't know. So this is where we kind of, just released it as Kite Liberator. And honestly, people were pretty impressed with it. We did wind up premiering it at Tokyo International Film Festival. Umetsu was there. It won some awards. It did very well at the Tokyo International Film Festival. Media Blasters was doing its thing. So that basically, after that, we then did release it, and the title, had done very well and continues to do very well. It really just stands on its own. I really don't think you need to watch Kite to know Kite Liberator. It's a very different story, very different, type of movie. I would say though that, the question then becomes: was there ever a follow up to Kite? Probably not. I would say, people know Mezzo Forte, they know Kite. I have not seen this new one, Virgin Punk, but from what I can see here, he's never really created a real true follow-up to Kite. As you know, it ends on that cliffhanger of the basketball blowing up and all that kind of stuff. So I would say there is no follow-up to Kite. But if you want a great sci-fi and also a very heartwarming story with some beautiful scenes in there, I would say what you should do is pick up Kite Liberator. Kite Liberator definitely has that going for it. And I think it really stands on its own. It's just a great film. And we were happy to produce it. In the end, it did all work out. Unfortunately, Media Blasters at that time, that's when we started to see the downfall of the home video market. Things were getting not as good. We did do more co-productions, but with each co-production, once the home video market was a little bit falling apart, we weren't able to really do much more on that front. We did try more and more to adopt to the internet model, but that is very difficult to do. So back to the main thing is, yes, Kite Liberator, great film, stand on its own, but is it a follow-up to Kite? Not really. All right? I just wanted to clear that up for you guys. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.